CNBC-TV18 Weekender.
Hello and welcome to the CNBC-TV18 Weekender. My guest today is the man who brought the burger to India. About 20 years ago, Amit Jatia, Vice Chairman of Westlife Development, brought McDonald's to India. Starting with one restaurant back in 2006, Jatia has scaled up this network in both the West and South India. An avid reader, a traveler and a self-confessed foodie, Amit reads, eats, lives and works only food. And what's better than a Mac Maharaja with some French fries thrown in? Let's go and see what he's up to. Hello, Mr. Jatia.
Hello, how are you doing?
Fine. What are you brewing today?
Well, I'm trying to brew a special Americano.
Is this your favorite coffee?
Absolutely. I'm one of the rare ones who likes a real coffee without any filtration of milk or any such thing.
Wow, that's interesting. That's a new hobby that you're soon going to develop.
Absolutely. With the launch of McCafé, coffee's become my new favorite.
You're on your way to becoming a barista, but you're also a hamburgerologist.
Correct.
Run us through that. That's a curious course. Tell us what it really entails.
Thank you.
Oh, and here we have a burger as well.
Absolutely. So, right as soon as we signed the joint venture with McDonald's, I immediately moved to Jakarta. Jakarta is where me and my manager spent about 9 months. The whole idea was to go through every aspect of the McDonald's business. We all started as crew, basically learning how to cook products, how to make French fries, how to clean the restaurant, clean toilets, etc. And along the way, as we kept finishing each station, the final test was to go to Hamburger University in Oak Brook. And all my managers, 20 of them and myself, we ended up in Oak Brook in December when it was snowing, quite a change from Mumbai. And we spent 10 days at Hamburger University where they teach you how to work in teams. It's not really about making hamburger, but it's about teaching you how to work with teams, how to work with people.
So it's the concept that they're really
Absolutely. Because finally the McDonald's business is about people. At the end of the day, it's a service business, and therefore if all the people who are working on a shift, 30 people sometimes, don't work together, it could completely disrupt the customer experience. On that note, let me try and eat some of my favorite French fries.
Well, you know, from 2006 to 2016, 20 years of McDonald's in India. How do you think the Indian consumer has changed, and how have you really adapted to that change?
Sure. I mean, obviously, before we started, there was no concept of neither quick service restaurant nor burgers. And yes, there were some Indian brands doing burgers, but they were on a limited scale. Our journey started by really introducing burgers and good quality burgers, consistent burgers to our consumers. When I fast forward 20 years later, we serve 300 million people a year who come to McDonald's across the country and eat our burgers.
Over these last few years, I understand that localization was one big phase of your entire journey. But how have you adapted the menu to actually cater to the Indian consumer?
Oh, that's a very, very good question. At the end of the day, the first biggest thing we said when we started was we will not do beef and pork in India. We said we will develop a menu that caters to the Indian preferences and Indian taste. So globally, while beef and pork is a big part of our menu, really we had to start from scratch. And that is how the evolution of the menu started. Right from day one, we developed sauces that were eggless. We had our separate kitchen where the veg and non-veg cooking would be completely different. And it originally started with products like the McVeggie. Over time, however, as we started learning the consumer's experience, taking their feedback, we developed the famous aloo tikki, the pizza puff, the chicken McGrill, and so on and so forth. Today, I must say that 90-95% of our menu is very relevant to the local Indian consumer.
You know, speaking about popularity, the biggest leap of popularity the aloo tikki got was when it was given the 20 rupee tag. Run us through how the whole value conscious aspect or the pricing aspect is taken off at McDonald's.
We realized in the early days that what Indian consumers were looking for was value. And we felt that if we bring compelling value to the Indian consumer, would that entice them to eat out more often? That is how the Happy Price menu was born. And when we went on television with it in 2004, the big differentiation about McDonald's was we took our favorite product, which is the aloo tikki, rather than taking a product that the consumers did not like. And we brought the price down from 30 to 20, and suddenly, over a period of 1 year, we saw guest counts go up like crazy, and we saw people just loving it.
When was the first time you really entered into a McDonald's? And also, tell me your concept of what you thought fast food was when really, before really McDonald's entered into India.
Sure. I mean, being a vegetarian, I studied in the US. I did my undergrad at USC in Southern California. And I would not normally go to any of the QSRs, including McDonald's, because I was a vegetarian. However, my first exposure to McDonald's was in Japan. My cousins would live in Osaka, and I would visit them often. And they would always take me to McDonald's for the famous thick milkshakes. And the other thing then I started loving was the French fries. So in the US, on and off, when I was studying there, I would go there for the milkshakes, even though I couldn't eat from the main menu. But milkshakes were my original favorite product from McDonald's.
Right, speaking about McCafé, you said that it's one very important part of your business going ahead. And this comes at a time when there are so many competitors like Cafe Coffee Day. We have new big coffee chains that are coming up all over the city and the country. How do you look at retaining that kind of edge, and what is the kind of target that you're working with for McCafé?
See, there is not a single product category in the world that does not have competition. But yet companies stand out, and some companies stand out substantially. From a global point of view, McDonald's as a single brand is $80 billion in sales, while the next single biggest brand is $18 billion in sales. Clearly there's something that McDonald's does right globally that differentiates it from its competitors. And I think we've been able to do the same thing in India as well.
Do you think pricing is the edge here?
I think pricing was an edge until 2012-2013, but our competitors surely caught up with it. From 2013 until 2016, we've had to completely reinvent ourselves. Between 12 and 13, we had a couple of tough years because, like I mentioned, competition caught up with us on pricing. So we took a step back and started saying to ourselves, what's the future differentiation around menu? And we said it's not going to be around discounting. So we said that we are not going to bring customers in by offering buy one, get one free. So the first thing that really worked for us was McCafé.
And you're close to hitting about 100 stores.
Absolutely. We're at about 93 for now, and we think we'll be at 100 very shortly.
Right, I wanted to speak from the larger business perspective. What is the kind of growth that you are seeing at McDonald's, and what is the kind of strategy as far as, growth drivers in the near future are concerned?
Well, our primary growth strategy are really two. It's built on two pillars. The first thing is we need to open McDonald's in this hugely underpenetrated market. So even if you look at Mumbai, we have 70 restaurants in Mumbai, and Mumbai has 20 million people. I feel that we can easily double or triple the restaurants in Mumbai, because if you look at so many suburbs, right, you will find that there is not even a McDonald's accessible. So that's job number one. We need to take the 250 restaurants in our territory and double that over the next 5 to 7 years. The second big job is to grow average store sales. We feel that while we are on a pretty good platform, the consumption in India is yet very limited, not only for QSR but for any category. The idea is that I talked about how we took the frequency of eating out from 3 to 9. Our next job is to take it from 9 to 12 or 15. And if that happens, I feel everybody in the QSR business will grow. However, in the last 5 quarters, we've really been able to change the strategy, and that's yielding great results. Our last quarter alone was about 6.5% same-store sales growth. So we hope to maintain mid-single digit to high single digit same-store sales growth over the next 3 to 5 years. The other thing is that if you look at McCafé, we have about 93, and we clearly want to double that over the next 3 to 5 years. I see McCafé as easily a 400 to 500 crore business. Similarly with delivery, we are launching a new app soon, and we've seen that the growth in the business coming through online orders has been quite dramatic. So we feel that delivery, we have about 150 stores now delivering. Again, we think that over the next 5 years, that's going to go to 300. So we feel that delivery, McCafé, our breakfast business, dessert kiosks will kind of double. The store base will also double. So I clearly see ourselves, growing total sales by about 15 to 20% over the next 3 to 5 years.
And in terms of 500 stores, that's the next big milestone. Can we expect that in the next 5 years?
Absolutely. We have laid out a vision 2022, and as per that vision 2022, we want to more than double our store sales. So we are at about 1,000 crores in sales today. Our ambition is to see if we can get to over 2,000 crores in the next 5 to 7 years, and that includes doubling the restaurant base, and that includes growing the McCafé, the delivery base, and so on.
What will be the kind of investment that you'll put into this?
So the investment is envisaged at about 750 crores over the next 5 to 7 years to do all of the things I talked about. That's roughly about 100 to 150 crores a year.
So how will this be financed, the investment?
So we are hoping, one, we are a debt-free company and we have a bit of cash reserve. So fortunately, a strong balance sheet is going to help us get ahead. The other thing is our cash flow is kind of improving year on year, and we are hoping that in the next couple of years we generate enough cash to fund the capex. Once we do that, I think we'll be in a very strong position. So at least for the next 24 months, I'm hoping that between a little bit of debt and internal accruals, we should be able to fund our growth.
On that note, let's slip into a very short break. Stay tuned.
CNBC-TV18 Weekender.